to the goal. Hold on to the goal. Show it off, show it off, show it off. Show it off, show it off, show it off.
This is the Show It Off podcast, where we are shamelessly and unapologetically confident. I am your host, Sarah Faye Schaff, confidence coach, yoga and meditation teacher, and founding director of the self-esteem building nonprofit youth program, Miracle Girls. This podcast is to support you on your journey to being the most authentic, bold, and confident you have ever been. I am teaching the ABCs to self-love, Sarah Faye style. I share tools that work, entertaining conversations, and inspiring stories every Monday here on the Show It Off podcast. I have a lot more for you, including the 5-video Yoga for Confidence virtual class series, which you get for free when you enter your email at sarahfayschaff.com. The link is in the bio. And the online education experience, Peacock School, 28 Days to Confidence, which moves you through assignments that, when completed, make you feel more confident, help you to start and keep new habits that build your new self-loving life, and much more. To access Peacock School, go to peacock.school. Now, let's get into the episode. If you like the Show It Off podcast, then you will also like the Show It Off book club. I have hand-selected a library of books that will empower you and keep you on track with your confidence-building goals. Reading has always been a huge love of mine, and if it weren't for the books that I feel like are my friends that have taught me so much, I just don't know where I would be now. That is why I started the Show It Off book club, and I hope you will join the club. It's free, it's fun, it's easy. How to join? Just go to @ShowItOffPodcast page on Instagram, follow the page, see the post where I list all of the books on the list. It's a picture of a stack of books that will help you find it. Start your own empowering library. Tune in each Friday for the conversation starter videos I post of the chapters we are on, and I'll post them on the Show It Off podcast Instagram page. If you can read 1 to 3 chapters a week, you will be set. If you can't, you can still see the videos anytime. But it would be amazing if you were able to leave comments and share your thoughts with the chapters we're on with the group in real time. This is to help you really integrate the high vibe thoughts you need to be a part of your life in order to truly embody being deeply self-loving and shamelessly and unapologetically confident. So join the Show It Off book club today. Last week, I told you guys part 1 of my story, my life story, and it may have been strange to hear. I don't know what perception you have of me as a confidence coach. It does take a lot of confidence to start a podcast, to go on YouTube, to put yourself out there, and be really honest and real about your story, especially. And I admit I had a little bit of a vulnerability hangover after I published that episode. And to me, that just shows me that I am continuing to challenge myself. I'm continuing to be bolder and bigger and more shameless. It's a never-ending process of growing, and I feel really proud of myself because it'd be really easy to just keep all of my secrets and just only share so much. But I feel like my story is what it was for a reason. And that reason wasn't for me to just keep it to myself. It was to share. That way somebody out there can relate and see themselves in that story and feel more supported in being authentic, being bold, being confident. So now today I'm going to tell you the rest of the story, which I am calling Part 2, Love and Miracles. Last week was fear and self-loathing, and if you heard it, you know. If you didn't, go back to the last episode so that you're caught up. So I left off last week at the part of my life story where I met my daughter's dad. And meeting him was a really amazing experience for me, not only because we fell in love like quickly and we had a really big, passionate love right off the bat that lasted throughout the years. We're not together anymore, but we still love each other very much and have a lot of respect for each other. And what I learned about myself when I met my daughter's dad, well, it was a mirror for me. You see, because I met him and I saw that this was a person who was really living their life the way they wanted to. He had a very unique situation, a very unique life, really unlike anything I'd ever seen before. And it was different than anybody in his family, of his friend group. He just really built his life the way he wanted to. He didn't have the same problem I did, where he didn't feel like he always had to do what everybody else told him to do. He always had a sure sense of what he was supposed to do and what he wanted to do, and that's what he did. And he was really unapologetic about it. He still is, and I still admire that about him a lot. So from his example, I kind of learned a different way of being, and I wasn't alone anymore. And I really we just came together and started building our own unique dream life. And we had our amazing daughter, Luna. And in this time, I had more practice implementing what I was learning from my yoga practice, from my meditation practice, and from the teachings of A Course in Miracles, which I primarily digested through Gabrielle Bernstein and Marianne Williamson, because that book is really in depth and they just made it easier for me to digest. And that's always great. It's like when we find people who we get and we're able to learn from them. I mean, that's like what I think is so cool about the internet. We can find anybody from here. But just like in any relationship, we are challenged in our relationships. And I once heard the analogy of rocks in a rock polisher. They're rubbed together and they're rubbing until they are smooth and they're different because of that rubbing together. They are refined and they're shinier and prettier because of their experience of being together. And that definitely happened with my relationship with my daughter's dad. We had really that passion and that love we have for each other created a lot of challenge and a lot of struggle. It turned really toxic. It was really hard. We started fighting a lot. And our relationship changed a lot when I became a mother. Because I changed a lot and he changed a lot. And after I had a natural home birth, I emerged from that experience like I'm unstoppable. Like I am amazing. Nobody can stop me. I can do anything. Like I just push this person out of my body and I'm going to do everything I can to take care of her. I mean, I really went into that birthing house one person and I walked out a different person. And my midwife told me that, and I've told this story before because it was really a powerful moment for me. I can almost not tell it without crying. I'm going to try. I was like at that tipping point in my delivery when I felt like I was going to die. And I think a lot of moms have this moment in childbirth where they're like, I can't do this. Oh my God, like this is how I'm going to die. I'm never going to have this baby and then she's never going to come out and I'm going to die. And my midwife looked at me and she was like, Sarah, like snap out of it. And she was like, you have to let go of who you were when you walked in here today. You have to let go because you're going to walk out a different person. And she was absolutely right. And when she said that, like, I got it. I don't even know if she like said that with her words or if she just like telepathically told me, like, that's how crazy the birth process is. You're like just in another world. And I think it's like I've never done ayahuasca, but to me, it's like the only thing I can compare what I've heard ayahuasca is like. You're just in it, and you're with your like demons and you're with your light, and you're just the veil is thin. You're like in between worlds, and you're on all these crazy natural hormones that are making you feel like you're on some drug that you never knew existed. Anyways, for me, it was a very empowering time, a very empowering moment when I pushed her out and I lifted her onto my chest. I looked at my love, my beloved, like her dad, and I just knew I was different. And I felt different. I looked different. I do look different. I was actually just I did Marie Forleo's A Decade in Review, and I went over the past 10 years of my life, and I was looking at old pictures of myself, like old emails I sent, and I am different. I look different. I talk differently. Like we grow, we change, right? Um, so I was very saddened by the dynamics of my relationship with him and how it changed, and it was very depressing. And I got into a very low point in my life. And well, because I was a mom, I couldn't like wallow. I had to get up every morning and try my best and learn how to be her mama. And I recommitted to my meditation practice. I recommitted to my girlfriends, like how my relationships with my friends. I recommitted to my self-loving mindset and aligning myself with my higher power. And you might call that God, you might call that divine light. I believe that we're all just fragments of God, like having a human experience, and we can always tap into that tiny yet invincible part of us. And that is where I really get my power from. And that is where I turn to for guidance. So I enrolled myself. Well, first, I let go of old goals and I changed my business of Miracle Girls into a nonprofit. I enrolled myself in Marie Forleo's B School. And that is where I discovered that my biggest strength is encouraging people to discover their best selves, because that is how I see people. Like it's really easy for me to not be judgmental. It's easy for me to like see past people's flaws. That has hindered me at times for sure, but it's also a strength of mine if I'm using it correctly. I ultimately made the choice to leave that relationship because I wanted something healthier for myself, for him, and for my daughter to witness as what relationship is like and what it's supposed to be. When I told you that like my relationship with him like caused us to rub up against each other and grow, part of what I learned was that I hadn't really healed some of the like trauma that I had been carrying, that I hadn't really healed some of my relationship stuff with men. And I entered that relationship not really fully myself because I hadn't really stepped into my power yet. And I believe that my path is divine and everything happens for a reason. And I have no idea what will happen with that relationship. Currently, we are co-parenting. I am an unattached siren mama. He's discovering himself, and I can't tell his story. I can only tell mine. But I know that it was necessary for me to leave him because I relied on him so much. And I got to the point where I didn't trust my own choices and I didn't trust my own mind. And I take responsibility for that because I just started believing that he was better at everything than I was. And it's like repeating old patterns, right? It might have looked different because I was in a loving relationship that was committed and we had a family versus like the other times in my life I had done that. But I was able to see that I was just doing the same thing over and over again, and it was just looking a little bit different. And I knew that I had to sever that relationship and turn to myself, like have a committed relationship to myself and heal my wounds, commit to therapy, commit to my meditation practice in a really serious way, commit to my rituals, commit to other tools to be as self-loving and confident as I possibly could be for the Miracle Girls, for my daughter, for any woman I came into contact with, for all my girlfriends, but mostly for myself. And I keep challenging myself because it's like once I do one thing that I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize I was capable of that. Like, wow, that was really powerful what I just did. Whoa, I never thought I would play that big. Like, I thought I'd always stay kind of small. And I keep leveling up and I keep challenging myself and I keep being like, okay, the comfort zone is different. How can I enter the growth zone? Okay, this has shifted. What does it look like now? And how could I show up more? How can I share better? How can I help? How can I be of service? Every day, my prayer to my higher source is use me, work through me as me. What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? Where would you have me go? And I'm not like letting my mind lead my life, but rather my intuition. And that is why I am confident. Yes, I do the workouts. Yes, I eat healthy. Yes, I like take care of myself and I use clean makeup more and more now than ever. Like I dress in a way that like feels like me. I do those things and those are like surface things though. I'm also doing the deep work, the deep, deep, deep inner work and facing my demons and facing my ghosts and and letting go of things. And I'm like doing it all in front of you and I'm sharing my experience because that is how I get inspired by other people. You know, that's why I love Rachel Hollis and Marie Forleo and Gabrielle Bernstein and Tony Robbins. And I'm just like, look at them, like, look at what they face. Oprah, my God, like, look at what they've done. And I get inspired by other people's stories. So I know that that voice inside me that's like, share your story today, Sarah. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that though. Like, can we maybe just tell another tool? And my guides are like, no, it's time to tell your story because there's someone out there that needs to hear it. And you said that you wanted us to use you. You said that you wanted your voice to be an instrument for like bigger purpose. So this is what we're going to do. So part of me felt like, God, who wants to hear my story? Like, it's not really that, like, is that like selfish? Like, is that annoying? I don't want to be annoying. But, so it's like I'm sharing this with you because it's not like just because I'm a confidence coach that I never ever deal with feeling vulnerable. I mean, like I kind of aim to feel vulnerable actually, because then I know that I'm um, challenging myself. Like anyone who works out, they know it's like, okay, I started off working out 30 minutes a day, like carrying these 5-pound weights, but eventually that really didn't challenge me anymore. So now I work out for an hour and I have 10-pound weights. And it's like, you just keep adding on and you get you get stronger, you get better. And it's the same way for my confidence practice. It's the same way for my self-love. It's like, okay, like downward dog used to be really hard for me. And then pretty soon it got easy. So then I started working on handstands and then those got easy. So then I started working on like side crow. And it's just like you keep challenging yourself if you want to keep showing up as your best self. And, that's important to me. And it's important to me to share that and to connect with other people. And that is why I'm telling you my story. That is why I share these tools. That's why I created Peacock School, why I coach people one-on-one, because I'm excited and I'm passionate about this. And I believe that this is my purpose. And I just like don't really see the point in just keeping it all to myself. We have the internet for a reason. We have like these devices that make it so damn easy to share. I mean, when I was a kid, I really didn't like school, but I loved show and tell. I loved just like getting up in front of the class and sharing a bit of myself. And that hasn't changed. So I thank you for listening to my story. I hope it's inspired you. I hope you can relate to it. I hope that you can be like, yeah, this relationship that I'm in is rubbing me hard and it is like challenging. And I do see myself like getting scared and feeling vulnerable. But you know what? That's where the magic is. That's where the like growth happens. That's where we discover what we're capable of. So Um, this actually is going to wrap up season 1 of the Show It Off podcast. This is my 27th episode. I've been sharing every Monday for 6 months, and I'm going to take a little break. And in 2020, I'm going to start introducing you guys to amazing people who are teaching other tools that can help you. And we're going to have inspiring conversations. We're going to have, I don't know, really, like I'm just really being led here. So like, we'll see. We'll all be surprised. We will all discover what there is to learn and who we're going to meet and what 2020 is going to bring. But I have this really great feeling that it's going to be awesome. I have this really great feeling that like dreams are going to be coming true for all of us, and that anybody who's willing to show up, to show it off, to be authentic, to be bold, to be confident is going to reap the benefits of that. We're all going to meet each other. We're going to find each other. We're going to like see each other in this different way. And it's not going to be for nothing. It's going to make a difference. It's time that we love ourselves, not because we want to strut our shit at the mall, not because like we want to compare and be the hottest chick in the room. Not at all, guys. We're doing it because it's time to shine. It's time to share. I have a unique gift. You have a unique gift, and the world is going to be a better place because you're going to share it. And same here. And I just like literally, I live on an island. I'm really remote out here, yet I have this Wi-Fi connection, and I'm using it to connect. And I believe in unlimited possibilities. I believe in dreams coming true, and I know that it's time. So I hope you love my story. Thank you for being with me for season 1. I hope that you share this episode, that you and your friends can come along with me for season 2, and we will see what is in store for us. We are bold. We are amazing. Let's be proud. Let's show it off. Mwah. Thank you so much for listening to the Show It Off podcast. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing it with at least one friend right now. Thank you for leaving a review on Apple Podcasts so other people can find this podcast. And thank you for going to sarahfayshoff.com to sign up to be a part of the community and get more support from me in your self-love journey. Thank you so much for being a part of this and for listening once again. You are perfectly made, so go ahead and show it off.
Show it off, show it off, show it off. I pick up a drink and I spin in my yellow dress. Give it up.